All right, now we are going to make some doors. We are going to make four sets of doors, I should say. Big difference here is the front pair of doors is slightly different than the other three. So I have a section that I drew through the front door, and what you're going to notice is we have a little cutout box here for the fake phone, and then we have another cutout that is going to be for the window frame, which will be made separate and inserted separate because that's actually painted white. Also, the interiors of all of these are beveled at 45 degrees. You don't have to bevel these at 45 degrees. The one in the set was beveled at 45 degrees. But you don't have to. You can go around and add molding around the inside if you want. It's another way of doing it if you're not comfortable or you don't have a table saw or anything else. So what I'm going to do is cut all of my pieces to the right length, 6'5½". And something else to notice here is in the back, I have 1x6 on the outside corners, and I have 3-inch wide on each side here. And then we have like a little divider that hides these things here. So that's on the three of the sides. When I get to the doors, I actually have a 1x4 ripped. You can see my bevel angle. And these are 3-inch beveled angle. And then I have 1/4-inch luan behind all of this. So I'm going to mark 4'11" up on the 1x6 so that I know where to stop my saw blade. And then I will finish out the cut with a handsaw. That way I can maintain my angle bevel where I need it. And this is called a blind cut. So I'm going to maintain my angle bevel where I need it. And then when I get into the windows or that phone box, I won't have that bevel. And so I'm going to be working on the 3 sets of doors that will make up the back, left, and right sides, and not the actual doors. Those are slightly different. So I have my first chamfer cut, and you can see where I stopped it at 4'11". So what I did is I marked where the radius was on the table saw, and then put a line that wound up being 4'9½" in this particular case. I stopped the blade, the visible blade there, and then I used a handsaw to cut into where my 4'11" stop is. And so then I have a 1x3 here, so actual 3 inches, 3/4 by 3 inches, and then 3/4 by 3 inches here, and that's the top of my window, and then my window frame fits in the middle here. So I made 3 of these. Now I got to do the other sides. So the chamfer will be on this side, so I have a matched pair. And then I will rip the 1x4 into 3-inch wide for my interior vertical stiles. And then I'll cut all my rails and then bevel those edges as well. Okay, so what we're going to start on, we've completed cutting all of our 1x6 with our bevel and our bevel stop. I now have some 1x3 that I'm also going to bevel to a bevel stop, and then some 1x4, which is 3.5 by 3/4, that I'm going to do the same. The 1x3 becomes the center line rails of the doors. The 1x4 is the outer rails of the front doors of the TARDIS. These are the outer rails. The 1x6 are the outer rails of the 3 sides. After I get that done, then I'm going to cut the stiles. Some of them are beveled on both sides. Some are not beveled at all. Some are beveled on one side. So we'll get to that later. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I have some scrap 4x8 1/4-inch luan. Left over from last year's Halloween. I want to get rid of all the rough edges around here. My finished height is 6'5½" for each of the 4 panels to go around our frame here. And for the sides, the three sides, it is 1 foot 9.5 in width, and for the doors it's 1 foot 7.5. So I'll cut out all my pieces out of these sheets here, and then I can start nailing my frames up. Okay, so I have my panels cut out, and what I'm going to do here is take my wood, I'm going to glue it, and I'm going to staple it on. Then I'm going to attach the stiles in the same manner. So this is going to frame up the side walls. It will do the same for the doors, except again they're a little narrower. And then we'll start installing. Okay, so I'm starting to assemble the walls. You can see I have the rails on these two doors. I'm going to finish the other 6 for the side walls. Then I'll make the 2 doors like this. And then I will cut out, bevel all the stiles that will go within this, and then I can take my router and I can route out where the windows go, and you can see where the cutback notch was. This is essentially, I will have my window will get cut out around this area here. Okay, now I have all of my wall skins and my rails attached. Now I'm going to do my stiles here. So I'm going to start at the bottom, which is actually down at that end. That's 3.5 inches wide by about 14 5/8 with 45-degree bevels on both sides and a 45-degree bevel on this side. This side here would be flat. Then the next one up will be 3 inches with bevels on all 4 sides, 3 inches with bevels on all 4 sides, 3 inches with bevels on 3 sides. It'll be flat and will actually receive into this. And then this upper piece here, which will also be 3 inches and be flat on all 4 sides. So I will do this. These are the side walls. When we get to the doors, it's the same thing, except on the one door we have the police phone box. So we actually have a slightly different configuration there, which I'll show you when I get to it. As you can see, I cut 45-degree bevels on both sides, which made up with my 45 degrees like that. I also beveled 45 degrees in here, and so when it sits in there, once I attach it, it gives me a nice mitered edge. So I will do that all the way up, mitering on all the sides necessary. Okay, so the first door is done. I have all my pieces on to the back. I have routed out my window hole. I have it clamped up at the top. And what I'm doing is I am screwing into a couple places just temporarily to hold it. I marked my center point down there and down there so I can make sure this is all squared up. And so I will make the next door, install that, and just keep working my way around until I get to the front, which will be over here, and go from there. Okay, so now we have 2 doors in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cleat along this bottom edge here, basically like a threshold. I'll capture the bottom edge. There's going to be a batten goes up along the seam here, the center seam. That'll capture that, and then on the back side, just to be sure, I'm going to put some cleats on the back side as well to hold it all together. So this will happen for 3 more walls, and then there'll be the door. Okay, so here we are. We've got the 4 walls up. And you can see I put my threshold in place around on all 4 sides. I have my entrance door hinge, which we'll put a handle and a lock on. You see the inside's kind of rough. What I did is I put a 1x4 across the tops to capture the top, and then I have a cleat down at the bottom. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to run a 1x2 batten all these seams here up there, and that'll run right into the bottom side of the police public call box sign, and this will hide the seams, you know, so that I don't have this here, but it's actually will look like that when it's done. We are almost to the point of painting. I want to paint before I get really any further. I'll kind of sand off some of the rougher edges. Again, this is all scrap wood, and it's for Halloween, and it's going to be dark, so I'm not being too particular about neatness on this particular project. It will be dark, no one's going to see it in scenery. But if you want to do a nicer job, take your time with the cuts and use all new lumber. Anyways, alright, I'm going to put these battens on. Okay, and now we have the battens on all four sides. And then the next thing we are going to start on are the police call box lights that go on the top here. We'll make the window frames, and then we'll make the top of it. And the door, which is on the other side, we'll have a panel for the call box that will go right here, and that's just going to be framed out one by with a sign laminated to it. I get my door handle on, my lock, and it's starting to look like a TARDIS.